Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
Bit of a weird one this week.
It is a little bit of a weird one. So we've decided to record this episode on Saturday at 3 p.m. because let's be honest, we've got nothing else to do.
No.
So yeah, obviously Queen Elizabeth II passed away on Thursday, which ultimately has put paid to any football this weekend, Premier League right the way through to sort of grassroots, which obviously includes us. So we have no game this week. We weren't really sure what to do at first, were we? Whether to talk about this in any sort of depth.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we don't want to offend anybody. Everyone's got their own views. So we put it out there, didn't we, on social media to sort of open up a little bit of a discussion as to what people think about games being cancelled and stuff like that. And
Yeah, so we've had quite a few comments actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I would say, I would like to have looked like a split nation.
Yeah.
But it looks like more people were annoyed that the games were cancelled. They didn't quite understand it. They couldn't get their heads around it. And I was one of those people as well. I mean, you know, I'm really, really sorry that the Queen's obviously passed away. It's really, really sad. But I'm not sure what benefit of cancelling sporting, and actually not all sporting events.
Well, no, that's a good point, because all of the football's been cancelled. But, you know, as I said, today is Saturday for us recording this. The cricket's on.
Yep.
Rugby union internationals are on. Rugby league are playing. You know, there's a lot of sports that are playing. The F1's on. Admittedly, I know that's not in this country. And everyone's just marking it with a minute's silence, aren't they? That's how they're working it. Whereas the football have taken the decision to not do that and to actually cancel everything. So what people have been saying?
Okay, so on Facebook we've had your mum actually commenting.
Okay.
She basically said that she was a queen of the people, and I'm sure she wouldn't want anything postponed. A grandmother who loved her grandchildren would not want the children to have their matches cancelled either. A minute's silence at the beginning of each match would have been far more respectful, and that's actually quite a few people have actually said that.
Yeah.
Again, Nigel's actually got in touch.
Okay.
Our regular.
Yeah.
He said, well, guys, if it's the right thing or not, it's now irrelevant after other sports decided to go ahead, i.e. rugby, rugby league, golf and cricket all going ahead.
Yeah. Football
tickets in the box and we miss out. Fingers crossed for Tuesday. Obviously, we've got a game on Tuesday at home as well.
Yeah.
A few more I got on Instagram. People are saying this one was actually for it being postponed. She reigned for over 70 years. This is by kbuck33 on Instagram. She reigned for over 70 years after having the role thrust upon her at 25, and an extraordinary responsibility she navigated with grace and dignity. A period of mourning seems appropriate. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people were not understanding why. It's not fair, you know. And
yeah, I think this is a very awkward one, and I think it's quite easy to offend people with this sort of subject. Now, my personal opinion is that, you know, games can go ahead. Mark the occasion, you know, form of respect, minute silence, get
black
on with
armbands even.
Black armbands, all that sort of stuff. I think that would be that's fine. Some people think it's, you know,
disrespectful
it's disrespectful to play. I sort of felt that the people in charge of football, bearing in mind the government had basically said to all sports,
do as you wish.
Do as you wish. You are more than welcome. If you want to play your games or your matches or whatever it is, you are more than welcome to do so. We will leave that up to each governing body as to what they want to do. And as we said, rugby league, rugby union, the golf, the cricket, they all decided to go ahead. And then I felt that the people in charge of football panicked a little bit.
I think, yeah.
They felt that, I think they were thinking, oh my God, what do we do? And then they thought, are we really going to offend people if we go ahead? So what we'll do to err on the side of caution, what we'll do, we'll abandon everything. And ultimately, I think they got a worse response doing that than maybe they would have doing it the other way around.
There was a guy that actually commented on Instagram, Hughes.David. He said, why are we mourning a head of the state that represents our colonisation? There should be no cancellations in Wales or Scotland. England should do as they feel fit.
Yeah.
But this, I can't say this word, obsequentious.
Okay.
Yeah. Big words. Yeah. Display by the Celtic fringes is just another example of our continued subservience. So that's quite a deep.
That's a bit too deep for a podcast, I think,
but
about Wrexham.
Thank you for getting in touch, though, David.
Thank you very much for getting in touch. I mean, I think that shows how strongly people feel towards what's happened. And like I say, I don't really want to dwell on it too much. But ultimately, you know, we've lost all the football this weekend. There'll be people who aren't really necessarily into football going, what are you moaning about? It's one weekend. And that would have been you a year ago.
I did say that to you. Yeah. I said 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I would have said, what are you moaning about? What's everyone? Just get over it. The Queen's died. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But now I get it. I get why people are frustrated, and you know.
I think especially after sort of everything that we discussed with regards to the documentary last week as well, how having that football as an outlet, you know, and how not having something like that there can affect mental health, you know, and I think that, you know, I didn't expect it to come to fruition, what we were talking about last week, so quick.
I think it was our fault.
No, I hope not. I hope not.
We didn't kill the Queen.
Oh, God. No, but I think, you know, there's a lot of important areas to look at there. More areas than we can do in an hour-long podcast. Yeah. But, you know, there's a lot of things there to discuss. And I think it's, you know, the mental health side of things is an important one to bring up because, you know, for some people, all they have is football on a Saturday. And when that's ripped away from them in the way that it has been sort of very last minute, that can have a detrimental effect on people, 100%. But, you know, there's other detrimental effects as well, like for the players themselves, in the sense of this season's quite an unusual season. Not so much for Wrexham's league in the National League, but for like the Premier League, for example, and the Championship.
Is that due to the World Cup?
Yeah, we're in a World Cup year, so we're losing 3 to 4 weeks of the season. Now, we've already got a quite congested schedule in there. And the problem with a congested schedule is it can lead on to quite serious injuries for players because of repetitive playing in short periods of time. Yeah. And then some of them obviously going off to a World Cup. Yeah, there'll be some recuperation for a lot of players when the World Cup is on. But then to take away a weekend and then turn that schedule into an even tighter schedule, you know, you're risking a lot with players there. And you know, and then I can hear the arguments in my head of, for the amount they get paid, all they're doing is running around once a week on a Saturday. It's not about that. It doesn't, you know, health and safety in work is huge. Just because you get paid a lot doesn't mean you get looked after any less. Yeah. And that's obviously a concern for a lot of people now because you've taken away one of your key dates, which is a Saturday when everybody plays. And then all of a sudden you've got to find another spot.
When do you reckon that spot's going to be?
It's going to be a Tuesday, isn't it? It's going to be midweek. There are no spare Saturdays. Last season, we had a weird number of teams in our league. So that meant every Saturday, somebody didn't have a game.
Right.
Yeah, so you had some scope for potentially doing something there. My maths isn't quite working there. Maybe not, actually. But anyway, you know, there was, you know, you've got to now try and find a window to play these games.
It's going to be tough.
The only time that's going to happen is not a Saturday. It's going to be midweek. So you're going to then have to cram more games. And all of a sudden, you've got players playing 3 games in a week. And that's in a week where they weren't due to play midweek. Yeah. it does create a headache, and I can hear people out there screaming, going, "What does it matter? It's only, you know." I get what you're saying, you know, but I do feel like in this period of mourning, there are people out there who'll want to mourn.
Rightly so.
That's fine. I have no issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people out there who don't want to and just want to get on with their life. And ultimately, it sort of feels like you're forcing them to mourn.
Which is what I put onto Twitter.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I mean, this, you know, not my opinion, but, you know, why are certain football governing bodies forcing people to mourn somebody who they may not have any feeling for whatsoever?
Yeah.
And you're, like you said before, you're ripping away that one thing that people work, you know, working class people work damn hard during the week, and the Saturday that they go and play football, or even the Tuesday they go and play football.
Watch.
Did I say play?
Yeah, you did say play.
I meant watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just their one day of release.
Yeah, it is, and it's a huge call, I think, by governing bodies to actually go, right, we're not going to play these games for all sorts of reasons. I understand people's reasons why they think that they should be. I understand people's reasons. That one guy got in touch.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me about he wanted to take his wife to the game.
Yep.
And he got tickets. Was it for this Saturday? He got tickets for. And he was hoping that when it was rearranged, it was going to be a Saturday because
he's just started a new job.
New job, and he wouldn't be able to go in midweek. Unfortunately, that I don't think is going to be the case. It's not going to be rearranged for a Saturday. It's going to be midweek. So you've got people like that who are then end up,
missing out on a game.
Some people can only go to games on a Saturday, and then all of a sudden you're taking that game away from them, and they're going, "It's okay, you can come on a Tuesday."
No,
I can't come on a Tuesday. Yeah. So, you know, there's all them aspects. Like I say, don't want to dwell on this whole thing too much, because I want to, you know, the whole point of the podcast is to, you know, bit of positivity in. So I don't think we want to focus too heavily on the sort of the negatives at the moment, but.
Thank you for everyone for getting in touch, though. Sorry we haven't read out your comment. But,
because we had a lot.
We did have a lot.
We do ask questions on social media from time to time, and this is by far the biggest response we've had.
I think it has had an effect on a lot of people.
Certainly.
Positive, negative, whatever.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people had a lot of opinions.
I just want to read just one more comment from PLJ84. I actually know this this girl. Her name's Paula, and she's basically put load of B. You can go and get. I'll just change the word to drunk. Go bowling, eat at restaurants, etc. Yet you can't go and watch the football. And you know, I don't quite understand the fact that people can still go to restaurants and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I don't suppose eating's disrespectful, I suppose. I don't know. Or throwing a bowl down an alleyway. I don't know.
No, I don't know. But like we say, thank you very much for everyone who got in touch. Whatever side of the fence you sit on, thank you very much for getting in touch with that one.
Move on.
Let's move on. Let's talk about something else. But unfortunately, the next point, that's quite negative as well. And I don't mean it to be. Maybe I should have structured it a bit differently. But anyway.
Let's get the negativity out first, and then we can be happy for the rest of it.
We had this week, obviously, domestic and international streaming. Our request was declined for that. Now we talked about this quite a bit last week, and I obviously said that the domestic streaming, I get that, and I understand why that isn't going to be possible sort of in this country because of the sort of media blackouts that we have, etc. But internationally, I did feel there was some scope there to actually do something. It's been declined. Blanket declined across the board. We can't stream sort of domestically or internationally. We did have we had a comment on YouTube from Homemade Productions. They said, "Good show, thank you." Wrexham fan in Canada. Streaming could be worked out with a little negotiation and no meddling from Sky. YouTube revenues from advertising could go to national teams who stream on their pages. Local blackouts could be managed through a geotagging. If teams in the National League streamed online on a platform like YouTube, it would attract bigger sponsors with deeper pockets and benefit the teams long term. Even if Wrexham is, brackets, and will be promoted this year, get the league on a bigger stage. People do get tired of the big Premier League teams, and fans all over the world will support the National League. That's my 2 cents. I fell in love with the town from the show. He's an Udinese fan by birth. Wrexham fan from watching such a brilliant community and team. Keep up the great work, you two.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. But it's a very sticky area, this, because of certain things in certain areas. Ultimately, BT Sport are paid for exclusivity on the National League.
Yep.
That's what they've paid for. That's what they get.
Yeah.
You can't go streaming elsewhere because they'll go, hang on a minute, what we paid for and what the money we've given that's just been distributed out between all these leagues, we don't have anymore. So if anything like this did happen, it would have to happen when the BT Sport contract ended, which I believe is the end of this season.
Right.
From what I've heard, BT Sport aren't that interested in the National League anyway. They buy the sort of season so that they can have the playoffs and the playoff final at the end. How true that is, I don't know. That is just hearsay. But, that's what I've heard. So ultimately, that's where we're stuck at with that at the moment. I'm quite surprised at the negativity towards streaming as a whole internationally. The negativity seems to come from other clubs.
Yeah.
Not other clubs' fans.
Yeah.
I had let's call it a discussion with a Chesterfield fan on Twitter this week. He was like, oh, you've only got fans who've only been supporting you for 5 minutes. Most of the Americans wouldn't know the difference between you and Barnsley. I said a couple of things to him, blah, blah, blah. And
didn't know this, by the way.
No, I think there's a lot of negativity towards us as a club anyway.
Because of who our owners are.
Yeah, who our owners are. We've got a bit of money.
Yeah.
Oh, here you come, you're trying to buy the league, all that sort of thing. I would love to see streaming resolved for next season moving forward.
Yeah.
Supposedly the National League are looking at a centralised platform for everything. As I say, the amount of money that I think we would bring in would definitely benefit all the other clubs as well. If we did get promoted, all that would disappear. So, I don't know. But I think this Homemade Productions does make a very valid point that people do get sick of the Premier League sometimes. And they do. What people like is an underdog story.
Yeah.
And if they're watching some National League games and they watch an absolute belter of a National League game, let's say, don't know. Well, yeah, as an example, let's say Wrexham Dover was being streamed in America.
Yeah.
And they watch that and they'd be like, right, this is my team. But it wouldn't have to be Wrexham. Let's say, York could be playing Maidstone. If something happens, if someone goes, oh, I've got nothing else to do, I'm going to watch that game.
Yeah.
And if that's an absolute belter game or something happens in that game that draws somebody in, you might have won a fan for life in Tennessee or in Portland or in New York. You just don't know. No. And you don't know how that can grow and the money that could bring into that league. So for me, it's strange. I don't quite understand it. But again, it's...
Well, Ryan Reynolds actually, when the decision came out that it was declined, he actually commented on Twitter, posted on his Twitter account, basically airing his unhappiness at the decision.
Yeah.
I haven't got the tweet because...
Yeah. Because you're not prepared properly.
No, it's not that. I just think it had swearing in it. So I thought maybe...
Okay, yeah.
So, he wasn't happy about it, as a lot of people aren't. So, yeah.
It's fair enough. And I think I feel quite negativity out now. So let's move on. Let's move on to some positive stuff. So, Wrexham have teamed up with Super Quick Questions.
Super Quick Q.
Yeah, Super Quick Q. And basically, what they're going to be doing is a player, I think it's every week, isn't it? It's going to be, that you're going to be able to, all the members are going to be put into a draw, and you're going to be able to have a chat with,
Whoever it is.
I say a chat. It's a 60-second sort of Q&A with a player. This week it's going to be Ben Tozer, and they're going to let everybody know this week who's actually sort of won that this week. What do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's sad that it's not open to everybody. You know, some people that don't have a season ticket and who aren't members.
Yeah.
Because obviously some season tickets.
But it's a membership perk, isn't it?
I guess, yeah.
Because ultimately, members, I mean, we're season ticket holders, so put that to one side for a minute. Members, they don't get a lot of perks within their membership, do they? And I think that's been a criticism maybe in the past by a lot of people going, look, I'm a member, what do I actually get apart from priority on sort of tickets? I think you get a little bit of a discount in the club shop as well. Not 100% sure.
Do we get a discount?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, you know, I think there's been a little bit of criticism about what do we actually get for our membership. I think, yes, maybe it would be nice to throw this out to everyone, but it's a membership perk, isn't it? You know, it's another perk for members. And what it ultimately does is if it goes really well, it's a great marketing tool, isn't it? Because they go, be a member. Remember what happened last season when you weren't a member, all that stuff you missed out on. Do you want to be a member now? And
I also don't think 60 seconds is long enough.
No, but that's the point of it.
Because if it was me, I'd be like spluttering the question and it'd be like, oh, sorry, Sean, your 60 seconds is over.
What would you ask?
What would I ask Ben Tozer?
Yeah, if you had 60 seconds.
I would ask Ben Tozer how he realised, or when did he realise that he was like a really good long thrower.
Okay. That if you would ask Ben Tozer, when did he realise he could throw the ball a long way? Yeah.
Well, what else could I ask him?
I don't know.
Ask him out for dinner?
Ask him out for dinner? You could do, I suppose. I
mean, that would be less than 60 seconds.
What do you know what you should ask him?
What?
If he wants to come on here for a bloody interview, that's what you should ask him. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm
not sure he'd want to come to our little house and our little office to
we do it by Zoom. Do it by Zoom. That's not a problem. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's an interesting thing, and I believe they're drawing it this week, and emails will go out for whoever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see what. I'm assuming it's going to be aired somewhere.
I don't know. They haven't said that, have they? They said you get a digital keepsake, which means that you they'll record it and then you'll get your 60 seconds.
I guess it depends what the question is as well, because if it's a filthy question from someone,
maybe so.
Yeah.
So Racecourse Live, worth updating on this. So in case anyone's not aware what Racecourse Live is, what they've done is they've kept back 200 tickets for every home game, so that they can give them. You can apply for this. So people who aren't members, people who aren't sort of season ticket holders, you can apply as an organisation. So it could be a school wants to take 200 children. This week for the Gateshead game, it went to Wrexham Food Bank. Brilliant, yeah, amazing. So it went to Wrexham Food Bank users and staff. So that's where the 200 tickets went. You can make applications as well if you want these tickets. You just need to go to the Wrexham website and just have a little dig around there, and it's on there. And there's an application form that you fill in. It's great, isn't it? Though
I love this. I love the initiative. I think it's brilliant because, excuse me, I think it's kind of for people who don't tend to be able to get tickets for any reason. Of one reason or another, they can't go to games usually.
Can't afford it, maybe.
Exactly. So I think it's a great initiative, and I love the fact that it went to Wrexham Food Banks last week, because I just think now more than ever, food banks and the people that work there are absolutely integral because of the cost of living crisis and stuff like that. So really glad that they got the chance to.
It's great as well. I think it backs up their mission statement when they took over the club, Rob and Ryan, because they said they wanted to not only invest in the club but in the community as well. And to be fair to them, up until now they have delivered on that, they're definitely doing that. So that's brilliant.
Kudos to those two. So, in other news, Rory Watson. This is player news, the only player news I think this week.
To be honest, we slotted this in because there wasn't really much player news, to be honest.
But I read that Rory Watson said that he wants to be playing. He doesn't want to be. He said that he spoke to the gaffer, obviously Parky.
Yeah.
And he basically, well, I'm assuming he means Parky.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It doesn't mean Rob or Ryan.
No.
He says he feels good vibes at this club, and he wants to be at a club that wants to win, unlike his last club, which
bit of a swipe.
Yeah, which turned out to be, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
It was Southend, wasn't it?
No.
Dagenham Redbridge. Oh my God.
It was Scunthorpe. His last club was Scunthorpe. So when he played at Scunthorpe, they were. Yeah, you're looking into that is terrible, but yeah,
I've got loads of notes about that as well.
No, he played for Scunthorpe.
Do you know who I'm thinking of?
Who?
I'm thinking of Sam Dalby.
No, you are.
I am thinking of Sam Dalby. Yeah, Rory Watson.
So he was at Scunthorpe.
Yes.
Scunthorpe have been in free fall. To be honest, it's a bit of a swipe at your old club, which I'm not a massive fan of always, but. There's obviously problems at Scunthorpe there from what he said. You know, he was at a club that, from what he said there, didn't want to win. I mean, they went down last season with minimal points. They were abysmal. They've come down to National League. They're already in the relegation places and they're struggling to win games. So you can sort of...
so early on in the season?
Yeah, so it alludes to what he's talking about there. You know, really, if a team comes down from one league into another, they should be strong candidates to be going back up because the quality they've got in the league above. Obviously, they haven't got any strength in depth there. They're really struggling. I mean, I can't really say much about Rory Watson because we haven't really seen him, have we?
No.
He says all the right things in interviews, but that's what you'd expect from a media-trained footballer. So
I guess we'll see. He doesn't want to be on the bench, so he wants to get out on the pitch and play.
Who does?
Even though he's a goalkeeper, so he's not really going to be out on the pitch, is he?
Well, where do you think a goalkeeper stands?
Or be a little bit on the pitch. Unless he runs out.
You say some weird things sometimes. So, obviously this goes out on a Monday evening, so tickets for the Oldham game, which is on the 1st of October, went on sale this morning. Feels a bit weird saying that because it's Saturday,
10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, so 10 o'clock Monday morning, the tickets for the Oldham game went on sale. Now, there was an initial 2,300 that went on sale. I've got no idea how well they sold or not because I don't have a time machine. But hopefully,
I'm guessing that all 2,300 will go.
That's just an initial 2,300.
Yeah.
The stand itself actually holds 3,750. The away stand at Oldham. It's huge. So my guess would be if we sell out the 2,300,
they're going to allocate.
We should get some more. I don't see any reason why not. Keep your ears peeled.
We're hoping to go to that game.
Yes, we are. Well, hopefully, when this goes out,
we'll have our tickets.
We'll already have tickets, so we'll have to wait and see. So, let's move on to documentary talk.
Oh, I love the documentary.
I love it as well. I think it's brilliant. One thing, just to get out of the way, do you think Humphrey Kerr? Does he? To me, he looks like a different person every episode.
Yeah,
he's very changeable, isn't he? He had long hair, he had short hair, he's got glasses, he hasn't got glasses. He looks different every time I see him.
He just likes to mix it up.
He does like to mix it up.
Yeah. Each to their own.
Fair play. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, well, you know.
So the first episode focused very much on Rob Langton.
Yes, it was nice actually to kind of get a bit of a background because when I started really coming to the games last season, I think Rob Langton played a few games and then he got injured, and then it was Dibble then from the
because you came sort of the back end of the year, the calendar year, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I think he got injured. I'm not
February,
sure.
Was it
January, February? Yeah, something like that. So I don't think you'd have seen loads of games with him. What did you think of him as a person?
As a person, I think he's hardworking. He loves DIY.
He's just a nice guy, I think.
Yeah, seems all right.
Yeah, I think what struck me was very much how, You always put footballers on a pedestal, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's just how normal they are. I know they're non-league footballers, and they're not getting paid. You know,
I would still get starstruck if I saw any of them.
Yeah, I know.
Like you did with Ben Tozer. Hi, Ben!
Shut up about that. Anyway, no, but what I mean is just they're not getting paid massive amounts of money.
No.
They're getting paid well, but just how normal they are.
Yeah.
Like he was just doing his own bathroom.
Yeah.
Taking plaster off the wall and stuff. It's just, I like seeing things like that because I think it reminds you that they're just normal
just
people.
Just like everybody else.
And they touched on the point that how goalkeepers sort of, they get a lot of stick sometimes.
They like to be when it first started talking about them, it was the goalkeeping coach, Dibble. I don't know who the other one is.
David Sabania.
Yeah, I do know, but I couldn't say his name.
Yeah.
And Langton were all kind of like in their own. They said that they like to keep away from the other players. They're quite loners and stuff like that, which is quite sad because you know he mentioned that obviously all the other players have got somebody to, you know, shoot to and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
shoot to. I like that.
Well, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. Pass.
All right. Sorry, but pass to.
Yeah.
But they don't have. They're just there on their own.
Yeah, they are a very insular group, I would say, goalkeepers.
It's quite sad.
It's not sad. They seemed happy enough, didn't they, all together like that? I just think he come across quite well. I think Rob Langton. I think we've got some good characters in the dressing room there. I think because there was one bit where he had his concussion.
Horrible that was.
When he got knocked out on the pitch. Obviously, you don't remember
that
happening.
No. That's why I think it was more shocking because I didn't.
Yeah, I one point I think about Langton. For me, I think Langton is still, even though Howard's come in, I think Langton is still the best goalkeeper we've got at the club at the moment.
Okay.
So if Langton was fully fit, for me, at this moment in time, I would start with Langton over Howard. Howard might turn out to be a lot better. But me personally, from what I've seen, and obviously I've seen a lot more of Langton than I have of Howard, I would start with Langton.
Yeah.
One thing about Langton, though, I'm not knocking him too much, is from that point where he got that, when he was knocked out and he got his concussion and things, I'm not sure he's ever quite been the exact same goalkeeper as he was before that. To explain myself a little bit more, I think there's a slight bit of hesitation in his game at the moment. So when there's something to come for, he always seems to, am I going to go for that? Which is understandable when you've had an injury doing something in particular. I think that's my only concern. I just don't think he's quite the same goalkeeper he was. But having said that,
still a good goalkeeper.
Still a good goalkeeper and still my first choice, I think. What do you think of Howard, though?
Well, I mean, the last 4 games.
Yeah.
He's saved a lot.
Yeah, it's one of them.
For me, ultimately that's what you want in a goalkeeper, isn't it?
Save it.
Exactly. Not letting them in. So if he can continue to save goals rather than letting them go past him, then I think he'll be on my list of goalkeepers, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of them. It's quite hard to judge who your number one goalkeeper is going to be when we've only seen Howard for 6-7 games. So it's quite hard to work out what we're going to get from him long term. He looks decent enough.
Is it usual for a manager, so Parky in this instance, to have, say, Howard starting and then maybe 60 minutes, 65 minutes into the game, he then
very unusual
brings another goalkeeper in?
Very unusual. That would be very unusual. And to explain the reason why is what you want from your subs is you want a sub that's going to come on and is going to affect the game in a positive way, in the sense of, right, okay, it's 1-1. Who are we going to throw on there to get another goal? Okay, we're 3-0 up. Let's rest someone and let's put somebody else in this position. Your goalkeeper isn't affecting the game. Oh, it could affect the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, there could be a big save to be made in the last half an hour of the game. But you've put your faith in a goalkeeper that's there. So you're not going to bring another goalkeeper on when that goalkeeper's fully fit. Because he's doing his job. Leave him to it. So your natural subs that you're going to make is to change the shape. So maybe Cleworth would come off, and then we'd put Elliot Lee on, and that would change the shape, and it'd go forward at the back. So yeah, that from what you've just said, that would be highly unusual.
And what we know about Parky,
doesn't like change.
Doesn't like change.
So
I'm with him. I don't like change.
But yeah, so it would be quite an unusual thing to happen.
Yeah.
You wouldn't change a goalkeeper unless a goalkeeper was having an absolute nightmare. Then maybe, and his head wasn't in it, maybe. Yeah. But like I say, it's a very unusual thing.
It's a lot of responsibility for a goalkeeper, though, because obviously, like Leighton said, I think it was Leighton, if a goal goes in, he said that he finds it hard to sleep at night because he feels so bad for that actually happening.
Dibble who said that.
Was it Dibble? I knew it was one of them. I couldn't remember which one.
I remember that because I made a derogatory comment about Dibble, didn't I, at the time, which I'm not going to make now, and it was just a little joke.
I like Dibble.
I like Dibble as well, and I think he comes across very well on the
He's
documentary.
Funny. He's funny.
Yeah, he is.
Funny.
Definitely. So the other episode focused very much on Alex Hamilton and his and the history. Now, weirdly, we obviously talked about the history of the club, and I asked you about how much did you know about the history of the club, and Paul Smith got in touch.
Not the Paul Smith.
I don't know. Maybe it is the designer. I'm not sure. Basically, what he'd said was Keats had done an unbelievable job on both occasions. I get that some fans didn't want him back after leaving us with 10 games to go and in the playoffs. His budget was around 700k for his last season in charge, and we missed out on the playoffs by a point. The budget now circa 2.5 million for comparison. The wife.
Me.
That is you.
That is me.
Her name's Sian, by the way. Just in case.
No, he does refer to me as the wife.
The wife, yeah. You really should delve into the history of our club. It's important and fascinating in equal measure. Well, didn't need to because we got the documentary now.
And I knew that. I knew that was going to happen.
Yes, so it was interesting that we talked about that for them then to go into this. I wasn't really sure how much they were going to delve into the history of the club in the documentary. Now, were you aware of Alex Hamilton?
I was sort of. I don't know too much about him because
I prefer to call him the but yes, that is
wow. I mean,
that's what he is. It absolutely is. But yeah, so what did you know about him?
I know that he basically bought the club.
And is this prior to the documentary? You knew this, or just from the documentary?
No, I knew this.
Yeah.
This is the as much as my knowledge of him goes. He basically, in a nutshell, bought the club. Basically, wanted to knock it down, and he was just basically all he saw was just money signs in his eyes.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a
yeah. Ultimately, he came in to run the club into the ground, which we saw on the documentary. He wanted to bulldoze the ground, sell it to develop the. To
be fair, he looked like a bit of a.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, there's a lot of bleeping I've got to do here now. But
well, you started it.
I did start it, and I apologise. But yeah, so I think it was important to touch on that. I think for a lot of people, that as much as we're here to celebrate the club and we're really enjoying the documentary, I think it angered a lot of people because it was.
They went to his home in Cheshire. I think.
Yeah, no, I mean watching it. So that episode, it was something that had happened in the history. It'd been dealt with, it'd been put to bed, but then to see it again, it's quite sort of like it was. It was sort of like it makes you quite angry.
It does. I get that it makes you angry, but it also shows how much of a community Wrexham AFC fans, what we are.
Yeah.
So I think it, even though it was an angering point in the documentary, I think it was poignant.
Yeah.
Big word.
Yeah.
Because it shows to people what what a community we have.
Yeah, I did, and it did touch on the what we spoke about before, where there was like, you know, they raised like 120 something
£7,000
in like 24 hours, and you know, again, it sort of shows that community spirit and what we're able to do.
Exactly.
And
So,
I think it was Sean who said as well, you know, when Chester needed to raise funds,
where were they?
There was no one. So it just goes to show what we have at this club. Just one last thing about the documentary, something I noticed, and it's obviously intentional, but I just wondered why the theme tune had changed.
See, I saw this on your notes, and I was thinking,
what's he talking about?
Yeah, didn't even notice it.
Well, in the first two, they played that Times Are A-Changing.
Which they were.
Yes, they were.
Or are.
But then it changed to It's Every Day Now by Buddy Holly.
I'm not sure the significance of that, but yeah.
No, I just thought, is that, you know, it's like I say, it's obviously intentional.
Yeah.
But it was a bit weird because football documentaries I've seen before, they have like Sunderland Till I Die, for example. They had a theme tune. It was the same one all the way through, and it was just a bit confused why they've changed.
Different.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, if anyone knows why, and whether it's just to set the mood for each one. So 1 and 2 was this, 3 to 6 was this, and I just wasn't sure the reason why. Maybe it's going to change again. Maybe it'll stay this. I don't know.
If I'm honest, a lot of people.
It's not that important, is it?
A lot of people skip the intro, don't they, to get to the good bits?
Yeah. Oh, there is one other thing about the documentary. I noticed online this week. There's a little Easter egg on the documentary.
Ah, I know what you're going to say.
When Steve Harvey was doing his, when they were doing their Zoom call, it was just after the Euros. And obviously England lost in the final, didn't it? And there was a little sign on the windowsill behind him. It said, "It's not coming home," which made me laugh. I very much doubt it was Sean Harvey who put that there. I think that's someone Welsh has snuck that in the corner.
Really,
so
do you think?
Yeah, definitely. So that's kudos to you.
That was his house office, though, surely.
Yeah, but we've got a whole production team there, haven't you? Filming and stuff. So well done, whoever sneaked that one in there. So we've got a game on Tuesday.
13th, yep.
Hopefully.
Unlucky for some.
Yeah.
Not for us.
Don't say that.
Not for us.
So we've got Dagenham and Redbridge.
We have. So.
Tell me something fun.
I'm not sure it's fun.
Okay.
But I can give you some statistics.
Okay, stat me up.
Okay, stat you up. Okay, so they are currently 15th, which, we keep talking about it. It's not really much significant this early on in the season. Last season they finished 8th. That's
about. I think they've been about that level for a while. I'm quite surprised they're as low as they are at the moment, because last season, because we always do these little things where to look at the table after 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, so we can compare where we are now to last season. And I think after about 5, 6, 7 games, Dagenham were top last season.
Okay.
And then they fell away a little bit and ended up 8th. So I'm quite surprised they're as low as they are, but still a dangerous team.
Let's hope that they don't have a great game on Tuesday.
Well, yes.
So we played them home first.
Yeah.
And we won 1-0.
Yes.
Mullen scored the winning goal.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
And then we played them away.
Lost 3-0. Yeah.
Lost 3-0.
Everyone remembers that. That was the game where there was a video of Wrexham fans went a little bit viral, where even though we just lost 3-0, everyone was singing and everyone was like, "Wow, look at these fans."
Just goes to show, people keep talking about it, but we are a community, and we support our
best
boys.
Fans in the world.
Yeah, we support our boys even when we're losing.
Our
boys.
Go on.
So they lost 3-0 back in when we played them away. Sorry.
Yeah.
And the 3 goal scorers were Morias.
Morias. Can I be honest? You've told me that name about 4 times. You've said it different every time you've told me.
Well, I'm not saying it again. McCallum and Robinson.
Yeah, McCallum's their top scorer, wasn't he, last season?
He was, and Morias
was
their second top goal scorer.
Yeah.
And Robinson, he was nothing. No. But those 3 players are still with Dagenham and Redbridge, so we do need to kind of keep.
It's a lot to be said for keeping a squad together as well, which is why I'm surprised. I know they haven't had a lot of people leave Dagenham, so I'm quite surprised they're sort of struggling a little bit this season, because there is a lot to be said for keeping that squad together and moving. You know, everyone knows the setup, everyone knows the way it is. So, you know, yeah, I'm surprised they are where they are. Still a very dangerous team. Prediction?
Oh, predictions. I'm going to say, I'm just going to throw it out there, 3-0 to us.
3-0. I'm going to go for 2-0.
Okay.
Another clean sheet. 2-0. I'm fancying 2-0 this time.
It'd just be so. I just want to get back to the race course.
I know.
So looking forward to today's game, but obviously.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So, and then we're away to Southend.
We are.
Tell me something about Southend.
Okay, so we played them away.
Yeah. Start of the season that was, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, and we drew
2-2. Yeah.
The players who scored for us were.
Stop you. Can I guess? Was it Mullin and Dior Angus?
No, it was Dior Angus, but it was Record.
Oh, was it Jamie Record?
I don't even know who he is.
I
actually had to Google him because I don't think I've ever known.
Oh, he was on the documentary. He was on there. I'll point him out to you next time he's on there.
Well, those two are actually not with us anymore.
No, they're not.
One is Record.
Yeah.
Record is at Yeovil, and Angus, obviously, we talked about him the other week. He's in Harrogate.
Yeah, so Record went from us to Boreham Wood, and then from Boreham Wood to Yeovil. So he's had a little bit of a travel around, he has. He was all right. He was an all right player, he was, as well. But
and then the scorers for Southend.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was Sam Dalby.
Yes.
Who is now with us.
Yes.
And
more
interesting. This is a fun fact.
Okay.
He was Southend's top goal scorer last season, which bodes well for us.
He didn't score many either, so
Who cares? He was top scorer.
Yes, but I mean, it's one of them. I don't think he scored many last season, and he was their top scorer. So it says it all. Probably why they wanted Jake Hyde as well, because they haven't got many goals in their team. So.
And the other one was Murphy. He still plays for Southend.
Yeah.
And he scored 7 goals last season. So quite a big season. 7.
Yeah.
And then we played them home.
I remember this game. I remember the game. We played awful.
I think I came to that game.
You were definitely at that game. We were awful. Ollie Palmer scored and we won 1-0.
Yep, we did.
Honestly, they looked all right, Southend. They looked like they could play, but they didn't have a great day. We were terrible, and I think we were very lucky to come out of that. It had 0-0 written all over it, that game. And that was it was towards the end of the season as well. And it was at the point when we were starting to struggle from whatever reason, tiredness, lack of depth in the squad, whatever it was. We looked like we were starting to struggle. And that game was the classic epitome of, oh God, we're starting to struggle a little bit here. But so what do you think about the Southend game? What's your prediction?
My prediction, I'm going to say, looking at the stats from last season, I'm going to say 2-0 to us.
I'm going to go 2-1.
Okay.
I'm going to go with them going in front, holding out till half-time, and us scoring 2 in the second half. I don't need to do that, do I? I just need to say the score. I don't need to say when. But no, I can see us going 1-0 down.
Parky calling them fatty footballers.
Yeah. And then actually turning it around in the second half.
Yes.
Just a quick point about that. You've sort of raised that, and I know we've done documentary chat. What did you think about him in the dressing room?
I thought he was funny.
We
were a bit confused, weren't we? We had to rewind it because we weren't sure whether we actually called them.
Yeah, we had to watch again. We couldn't tell if he sort of did a slight swear or whether he called them fatty. But do you know what? I loved that bit because it just shows, because he seems quite quiet and mild-mannered. And what you always worry about as a fan is when they're not playing well, have you got enough about you to put it on them and tell them the way it is? And he has. And I'm not bothered that we haven't got a manager who's screaming and shouting on the sidelines every second. Yeah, someone who's just pacing up and down and constantly screaming. He looks quite calm and composed on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But I now know he's got it in the dressing room that when he needs to, he can actually put it to him.
When that was at half time, and then when full time the speech full time,
Yeah.
he was calm,
Yeah.
congratulated them because they actually played
Yeah.
better in the second half.
Yeah,
Anyway,
a lot of respect for him after
Yes.
that. I felt like he's a very well-rounded sort of manager.
I'll say it again. I like Phil Parky.
Yeah, I do. So, other people who got in touch this week.
Yes.
We've had a lot.
Do you know
a
what?
lot, and we are very grateful. Robert Dorr, he said he agrees with you.
Woo!
He said he would vote for Assist of the Month.
Well done, Robert.
Whatever, Robert. Whatever you as well. I mean, look.
Don't be so bitter.
I'm not talking about this. Assist of the Month. Let's move on. Thanks, Robert.
You'll be eating your words when it's a thing.
Christopher Razzo got in touch. Razzo, not sure. Got in touch on YouTube to say quality video. Thank you very much. LLC.
Michigan subscriber.
Said Michigan. Yeah, she's a Michigan subscriber. Enjoying this. Keep going.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then Nigel.
Nigel, yes.
He's got a new flag.
Nigel's got a new flag.
He's got a new flag. And he said to us, watch out for him at the game.
On Saturday.
But obviously, sorry, Nigel. If you've got it there on Tuesday, let us know.
Yeah. If
you're going to the game, obviously.
Yeah.
And on his flag, it says, Wrexham is my religion, the racecourse is my church. And I think that is a lot of, that's a lot of people's opinions.
Yeah, it's a great flag. And obviously, if you watch us on YouTube, you will know that we have a flag behind us as well. Nigel actually got his flag from the same place that we got our flag,
which is, do.
Yeah, a lot of people do as well. So it's a little bit of a shout out to a guy called Ross Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever need a flag doing for the football or for anything, to be perfectly honest, just search Ross Quarters on Facebook. He is brilliant. And he'll do exactly what you need on the flag. He's brilliant at that. So a little shout out for him. While we're doing shout outs to people as well, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice I'm wearing a Wrexham Till I Die t-shirt. Last time I wore it, a few people asked me where I got it from.
Mm-hmm.
So just for everyone to know, obviously, if you listen to the podcast, it's a bit pointless, but for everyone watching on YouTube, this t-shirt actually comes from Wrexham Trainer Revival. So we'll put a little link down in the description to their sort of Facebook page as well. They do loads of great stuff, a lot of good Wrexham stuff as well. So have a look at that.
So someone else who's got in touch.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania.
Carlo Wilson.
Okay.
His great-grandparents from Wrexham.
Oh.
Which is, interesting.
Yeah.
And he basically said that he's enjoying our show.
Who doesn't enjoy the show?
Wow.
Wow, that's a nice little segue into the next point, isn't it?
It is. So let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah.
See, on Monday, my father-in-law, your dad, sent us a screenshot of a forum that he's actually in that we're not in.
Red Passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically somebody, I'll read it to you. So, all it says is a Wrexham fans week. I'm assuming they just talk about.
Yeah.
So this is what they've said. It doesn't say a name or anything, but I do think with the podcast that less is more sometimes.
Yeah.
Have listened to the two newer ones, Racecourse Ramble and Me, the Wife and Wrexham. Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC for a start.
Yeah.
And didn't find they added anything more to the Good Job, FID.
Fearless in Devotion.
And RRR.
Rob Ryan Red.
Yep, have been doing. Okay, fair enough.
That's fine. People, don't be so angry.
Wait for it.
People are entitled to their opinion.
They are.
Okay, read the next bit.
Okay, this really got... But apparently this is a compliment, so we'll let you decide.
Yeah.
Anyway, he put Me, the Wife and Wrexham, again, missed the AFC off, actually reminded me of the Peter Kay comedy Car Share in a funny sort of way.
But that's all right, isn't it?
People have told me. I mean, I've watched Car Share, and I think it's hilarious.
It's funny.
And people have said it's comedy genius.
Well, there you go. I'm not sure we're comedy genius, and I'm
Speak for yourself.
And I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of being compared to Peter Kay.
Well, the girl who plays alongside him is called Sean, so I'm not so offended by that.
No, but look, I think you can look. There's two ways of looking at it. I wouldn't get so defensive. Not everyone's going to like us, are they?
See, I'm the type of person that I want everybody to like me.
Oh, look, everyone's not going to like us. Some people will like listening. Some people won't. It's just that it's the way it is. Look, we've been compared to a hit comedy show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
On BBC, no other.
Yeah. Look, it is what it is. It was just one of them comments that came out this week, and it made me chuckle anyway.
I think I replied to your dad.
Yeah.
I put, who's this numbnuts? Can't please everyone. And your dad said, no, that's true. And I said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
But I think, yeah, you'd immediately jumped into assuming that was a bad thing. And I'm not sure it is. He's compared it to something that he said he found funny. He said in a funny sort of way.
I'm not sure that he found it funny.
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
I think our podcast is amazing. So
yes,
that's, you know.
Yes. But you're always going to get people who don't like what you do. It is what it is. Thank you to everyone who sticks around and listens. We're very appreciative. If people don't like what we do, that's okay as well. Well, you know, off you pop. Go listen to something else. I mean, it just is what it is, isn't it? You can't please everyone.
You can't please everyone, no.
As always, if you want to get in touch, it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or email us at me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC at gmail.com.
Oh, you balled that up a little bit this week.
I did. But anyway, there you go. There's the email address. Quick shout out again for Dragon Chat this week. I haven't been able to get on for a couple of weeks, so
I think this week's been a write-off coming back from holiday and
it
going
has
back to
completely,
work.
but
Yeah.
I need to get back on there and have a chat with everyone who goes on. Just in case this is the first episode you've ever listened to, Dragon, your wife is a woman. Dragon Chat is a peer support men's mental health group.
Yep.
They do a Zoom call every week. If you're watching on YouTube, all the details will be down in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, just go on the Wrexham AFC Facebook page. Every Thursday, they'll post the details on there of how to get on the call.
Yep. Massively
beneficial for people. If you want someone to talk to, you feel like you need a little bit of help.
You're struggling to talk there.
I was, yeah. That wasn't the greatest point to be struggling to talk, was it? If you need somebody to talk to, you know, it's a great place to go. Yeah. The people on there are amazing. To jump on that. So,
quiz time!
It is quiz time. I thought I'd try and do something a little bit different-ish than what we've been doing.
Okay.
So we've gone back to 5 points on offer.
Okay.
Back to 5 points. Let's see how you do this week. So what we've done is we've done transfer. It's just me. We haven't got a team of people. It's just me. So what I have done this week is I'm going to give you a description of a transfer. All players that are coming into the club. Okay. You need to tell me from that description who the player is.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Look, if you struggle, you struggle. But the quiz isn't...
I think you enjoy seeing me struggle.
No, because ultimately the quiz isn't just for you. It's for everybody who listens. Okay? So, number 1.
Okay.
Which player... Do you want the position of the player? Or do you just want... No, we'll go. Which player did we sign in July 2021 from Cambridge?
Paul
Mullin. 1 out of 1. Well done.
Ooh.
Which player did we sign in August 2021 from Cheltenham?
Palmer.
No.
Ah.
That was Ben Tozer. Which player did we also sign in August 2021 from Carlisle?
I'll say Palmer again. Just say Palmer for all of them. Ooh. Defender. I don't know. It's really bad. I don't know.
It is really bad. Yes, you're not wrong. It's Aaron Hayden. Which player, they're all players, don't need to say that, did we sign in January 2022 from AFC Wimbledon?
That's Palmer.
That's Ollie Palmer.
That is
yes.
Ollie Palmer.
So that's 2 out of 4. 3 out of 5 would be all right. So pressure's on for this last one.
Yeah, okay, great.
Which player did we sign in August 2022 from Boreham Wood?
Anthony Ford.
No, Anthony Ford come from Oxford. I'll give you one last stab at it if you want. Is that going to help? So, August 2022 from Boreham Wood. So, literally just before the season started.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Mendy?
It is Mendy. Yes. I get a little bit of help by double guessing, but that's fine. You got there. 3 out of 5. That is very well done.
If you're listening to this on the podcast, he's got a very patronising look on his face.
Well, people have accused me of being patronising.
Well, maybe you should work on it.
Well done, little girl. Right, well, thank you very much for tuning in again this week. Little bit weird, no football. I hope you're not all going a bit stir crazy with no football on to watch. To be honest with you, it's driving me insane already.
No match of the day for you this evening.
No match of the day. Yeah, so I twiddle my thumbs until...
You'll have to talk to me instead.
Oh my God, let's put a film on. Right, okay. Thank you very much for tuning in again this week. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.